Oh, hi guys. Today I'm be going through some of the top three biblical lessons I've learned over this last week. Um, Quick disclaimer: I did just make these 30 seconds ago, but this is from the lesson I've learned this week reading my Bible, so that part's real. I'm also no pastor. I'm also just a kid in my bedroom, so don't take everything I say too hard. Always take it with a grain of salt. The usual stuff, you know what I mean? Let's get to it because it's 12:22. That's the wrong screen. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Close. But I think you're 25 minutes. What do you mean it's long? Um, okay, there we are. Hold on, don't mind that. Cool, here we are. So, three biblical lessons I learned this week. Buckle up. Okay. Number one, you are slave to something at all times. So, this lesson right here comes from, this comes from right here. The Romans chapter 6, 16 to 19. 16 to 19. So basically, Paul's just saying, like, dog, like, use yourself servants to obey. He's basically talking about, like, we're going to be either servants to sin or servants to righteousness. But then the difference between the two is, like, you're going to be slaves. And there's a lesson in that you're always going to be enslaved to something. And if you're going to be enslaved to something, let it at least lead or let it be something that's something fruit that you'll enjoy later. Like if you're going to be, like, you know, saying, if you're going to be slave to something. And I took this in a way of like, we're going to be slave to something. Every day I'm going to be slave to either my phone, I'm going to be slave to my work. I'm going to be slave regardless. But I can be on my phone all day, and at the end of the day, I go like, damn, I know you did nothing today and feel guilty for wasting a day, another day on the precious day that the Lord has made on this earth, and like I've just wasted it. Or I can choose to be a slave to my work and not enjoy my work, but at the end of the day, I can be like, damn, God, I made a step towards what you've called me to do. I made a step towards the promise that you made. I made a step towards the things, the change I want to see in the world. You know what I mean? You can. That's like, those are my two options. I can be slave. I'm going to be enslaved to something I'm not going to enjoy, or not that I'm not going to enjoy, but I'm not going to rejoice in me spending time with my friend all day. I'm not going to rejoice in me doing work. I'm not going to rejoice in anything, to be honest. The days of rejoicing, it's not my season to be rejoicing. So if I'm going to be slave to something, at least I want it to at least lead to something. That kind of reminds me of Ecclesiastes now that I'm thinking about it, where he says, like, you're going to work, you're going to die one day. The best thing you can do is, like, while you're on your way to, you know, dying, you can at least enjoy the journey. Like, that's the only thing you're going to get out of it, to be honest. So that's just something that I just thought today was a good lesson that y'all should learn. Second one, tough times or tribulations, patience, experience hope. So if you've read James, I can't remember what it says. I probably have it here. This is probably it. Oh yeah, James 1, like 2, like, count it all joy when you fall into temptations, or when you, because the trying of faith works patience. That patience will then go ahead and create like faith and stuff. But in this version, it's like, so delight in like tribulations. Tribulations know that tribulations work patience. Patience experience, and experience hope. And it's funny because I was thinking to myself in that moment, like, okay, so I'm going to go through these hard times, and it's going to give me patience, and then it's going to give me experience. And the word experience was like, weird, but in the NLT it says character, right? It says character, but in the King James Version it says experience. And that was so powerful to me, because when I thought experience, I immediately thought taste and see that the Lord is good, right? So then I applied it to this. So I said, okay, have glory in tribulations, knowing that those tribulations work patience, and that patience works experience. Okay, so tribulations give you patience, and that patience is going to give you, that experience is like tasting and seeing that the Lord is good. Right, that's like experience. Right, so you go to hard times, you go through those hard times, you gain patience, and you've also been able to taste and tangibly feel the evidence, or see the evidence of God being faithful, and being able to taste and see it. Right, and there's something so powerful about that. That like sometimes going through the hard times is what brings God face to face with you, more than you praying for like half an hour or whatever y'all be doing. Sometimes just going through the hard times brings you closer to God than anything else. So that's why he says rejoice in it. And then in that tasting and seeing, in that experience, we now have hope, right? This is Psalm 34:8. What I write was Psalm 34:8. Now I'm going through my notes again so you can see. What is Psalm 34:8? Psalm 34. Oh, taste and Lord, see the Lord is good. I takes refuge in him. Okay, that's not what I thought it would be, but either way, you get my point. And hope. Oh yeah, did I say hope? Hope is in Romans 8. And we are saved by hope for the. Oh yeah. And then that's another thing. I think this is about to make it click. But it says also hope. Right. Hope. Honestly, what's the difference between hope and future? I mean hope and faith. And hope is basically future faith, right? Future faith that God will do something. Faith is like kind of the personal trust and kind of the in the moment kind of that, like faith. But hope is like knowing that in the future God is going to work. So another reason why I read this chapter is because I wanted to see the character of God. So this saying like, okay, you want to see the character of God, you better have some tribulations, dog. And when you have tribulations, just know that XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Right. So that is number 2. And number 3 is don't change now. Don't change now, dog. Don't change now. It says, for when you were servants of sin, you were free from righteousness. What fruit did those things have? Because now you're ashamed. For in those things lead to death. But now being made free from sin, become servants to God, and have fruit unto holiness and everlasting life. And then it talks about here, neither yield your arms as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto God, as those who are alive from the dead, and your members as those who are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness to God. I think a lot of times us as Christians, us as people, come into Christ and we have gifts and stuff. I have gifts myself, and we're like, you've just been like, I don't know, maybe you before you were an amazing barista or whatever, and we come into Christ and you just go like, there's no real gifts for me to like. There's nothing for me to use. Or maybe you've got the ability. Another example, you've got the ability to talk to people, talk to girls, maybe talk to people. You're really confident now that you're in Christ. You're kind of like timid. You don't want to do that. But it says here, yield yourselves unto God and use your members or your arms as instruments of righteousness. And for me, it's powerful because instruments are things by themselves have no value at all. What's the point of having a guitar with no one who can play it? It's just like a piece of wood with some string on it. It's literally nothing more. But in the hand of an artist, in the hand of God, wow, like the things you can do with the guitar is endless. The people you can affect, the songs you can create, the souls, the impact. It's all greater with an artist compared to like a piece of wood. So the reason I say don't change now is because I'm saying just because like don't change anything about yourself. Don't change anything about yourself. Just have a greater purpose and have purpose behind what you're the things that you're doing. So if you're like a really outgoing person and you're like you know love God, doesn't mean like oh now I need to be quiet about it. It means the same way you're saying hey let's go out, be like hey let's go to church, and all of these lessons by the way I still struggle with, and that's the only reason I know them. Right, if someone has a massive revelation about something that really helps you, is just know that by the way they struggle with it. Like you, that's one thing I learned in business. You can walk around and you can just look at things, take things for face value, but that won't make sense if you don't experience daily operations inside a business. Don't make any sense to you as the customer on the outside, just looking at people doing their work because you don't have any experience, you can't see any problems. But as soon as you experience the problems, they become very real and they become very tangible and they become like it's like your eyes are open to what you're seeing. So in this context of everything I'm saying here, I know this because I struggle with it. I know that I am a slave to something because I've been a slave to everything at some point. I know that tough times create patience, experience hope, and I know that there is definitely things that I have right now I'm almost hiding now that I'm a Christian when I could actually just be like, I'm actually that guy. Like, please, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to upload this other video, but it just told me that it's too long. It's 25 minutes. So maybe it's because I did something else, started doing other stuff, but we'll try again. So, peace. Love y'all. Back at it.